In this video, we're going to take a look at all the important changes for 2026, the legislation that has passed and the legislation that is in the works that has not passed yet. All the important stuff that happened in 2025 that is also going into 2026. If you're looking for the changes and the important ones for 2026, this video is for you. Starting with the most important change is the canceled proposed capital gains tax. Capital gains is only taxed at 50%, which is favorable. What does that mean? Only 50% of income is included. If you are a top bracket earner or the highest earner, that means you're only paying a tax of 25% on those capital gains. If we're looking at business income, 100% of income is included. If you're a top bracket earner, 50% is going to get taxed for that amount. So we don't want this to change. We want it to continue to be favorable at 50%. There was talk about it going to 66 and 66.67% or 66 and 2/3%, which would have been a very high increase, and that would definitely be very hard for the middle class. This is still a method. The capital gains is for people in the middle class to become wealthy and not have to pay tax and get further ahead. So we're very, very, very happy that this has been changed by our Prime Minister Carney. Of course, this was a big part of the Liberal when he was going into the vote, telling them that the Liberal Party was going to scrap that legislation or that proposed tax. That's the first one. The second one is this first home buyers GST HST rebate. So this is still proposed legislation. It hasn't been passed yet, but essentially they're going to introduce another rebate for first home buyers. So they would eliminate the GST or federal portion for the HST for home buyers, first home buyers. For new homes valued up to $1 million. The rebate would also allow home buyers to reduce the amount of tax they pay on a new home valued between $1 million and $1.5 million. Okay, so very important here. You have this ability where you can get a new rebate and not pay this tax, which is very good for home buyers. It'll basically say individuals who are buying or building their first home, newly built or bought for the individual's place of residence, you can recover up to 100% of the GST paid, up to $50,000. Okay, so here we can see an eligible individual purchase a new home for $1.2 million. A new home valued at $1.2 million would be eligible for 50% of the maximum rebate of $50,000. The individual would be eligible for a $25,000 rebate, which is really great. You can see what is the eligibility here. Again, this is all proposed yet, so it hasn't been passed just yet, but we're going to take a look in 2026 if that changes. Another thing here is the new legislation passed to deliver new Canada Groceries essential benefit. Essentially, what this is saying is inflation is going out of control. Everything is expensive for groceries, especially. Apparently, this will provide relief for more than 12 million low and modest income Canadians. There's about 40 million Canadians now, so 12 million, that's a huge portion. Again, if we're looking at this, you can see that when you go down to the quick facts here, you can see if you're a single senior with $25,000 net income, you will receive a total for the 2027 benefit of $402. In total, you'll receive $950 for the 2026-2027 benefit with the top up. But if you're a couple with two children and less than $40,000 in net income, you'll receive $1,890 for the 2026-2027 benefit. Okay, so again, this is another thing that changed in 2026. One other thing here, what's really important is the removal of the carbon tax. So now they removed that carbon tax that people were going to pay. This was all about green energy, but apparently the Canadian government thought it was important to tax the consumer for buying, stuff that you really, you don't really have a choice. If you have a car and, it uses gasoline, you're going to fill it with gas. But essentially they scrapped that, which means they also scrapped the rebate for this. So something now you won't be able to catch or apply for this rebate. But if you didn't receive the rebate or you haven't filed your tax returns for the years that you could receive it, so 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, you can still get that portion of it. And you'll just click here to figure out or find out how. One of the other big changes here is the 2026 federal income tax. So now the lowest bracket is taxed at 14%. If we look at the 2025 amount, it was at 14.5%. If we looked at 2024, it was at 15%. So you can see the changes. It's going down. It'll probably stay at 14% moving forward, even past 2026. This again is very good for lower income or the lowest income families. No changes to the middle class here. So anything above 58,000 to 117, still taxed at 20.5%. Unfortunately, no change there. Would be good if they also brought this down for that middle class, but good changes for the lowest income tax goers. Of course, the brackets here have also changed for inflation, so not too important there. You'll also have other, the credits have also increased for inflation as well. Another thing well worth mentioning is that extra CPP2 tax that you're going to get if now it's more difficult for you to overcome your CPP, essentially paying for it, and maxing it out is now becoming much difficult for most Canadians. You won't be able to get a higher, amount once you higher salary or paycheck once you max those out in December. So those are a few things to think about. For 2026, just the big changes here that we're looking at that, the Canadian government has implemented and is looking to finish implementing for 2026. If this video helped you, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more practical Canadian tax guidance videos to help you get past the tax season. Remember, this is general information, not personalized tax advice.